All right, let's talk about data. You know, that raw, messy stuff we have to turn into the lifeblood of any machine learning model. Today, we're diving into the AWS toolkit that makes all of that happen. Ready? Let's get into it. So, here's the big question, right? You've got this absolute mountain of raw data. It's a mess. It's unstructured, it's chaotic, and there's just no way you can feed it to a machine learning model and expect anything good to come out. So what's the secret sauce? How do you get from that messy pile to clean, actionable insights? You really have to think of raw data as this wild, untamed thing. It's full of potential, for sure, but you can't really do anything with it until you put some structure around it. It's all about taming the beast. And the process for doing that has a name you've probably heard a million times: ETL. It stands for extract, transform, and load. Think of it like a recipe. First, you extract the raw ingredients from wherever they live. Then you transform them. Clean them up, chop them, mix them into something useful. And finally, you load that finished product into a place where it's ready to be served, or in our case, ready for your ML models. Seriously, this isn't just some optional step. It's the absolute foundation of everything. Okay, so if ETL is the process, what's the tool? In the world of AWS, when you think ETL, your mind should immediately jump to AWS Glue. For most of your standard ETL jobs, Glue is designed to be your best friend, kind of like the central command for all your data wrangling. Now, look at the key words here: fully managed and serverless. These are huge. Fully managed is great, right? It means AWS handles all the boring stuff: patching, maintenance, you name it. But serverless, that's the real magic. It means you don't have to think about servers at all. And here's the kicker: you only pay for the exact seconds your job is running. Think about that. For jobs that only run once a day, the cost savings can be absolutely massive. So, how does Glue actually work? Well, you can break it down into three simple parts. First is Discover. Glue has something called the data catalog, which is basically a super smart librarian for your data. Then there's Prepare. This is where you set up your ETL jobs to do the actual cleaning and transforming. And the third part? Run. Glue takes your job and runs it on that awesome serverless engine. Discover, prepare, run. Pretty simple. And let's just focus on that data catalog for a second, because this is where a lot of the cool stuff happens. It's not just a dumb list of your data. No way. It actively crawls your data sources, automatically figures out the schema, the structure. And get this, it even detects when that schema changes over time. This kind of automation is a lifesaver. Okay, theory is great, but let's get practical. What does this actually look like step by step? Let's walk through a typical Glue job from a raw file all the way to analysis-ready data. Step one, pretty much everything in the AWS data world starts in one place: Amazon S3. So you take your raw file, let's imagine it's a simple CSV with all your sales data, and you just upload it to an S3 bucket. That's your starting line. Step two, you need somewhere to put the clean data when you're done, right? So you set up your destination. A really common choice here is a data warehouse like Amazon Redshift. You basically get it ready to receive that nice, clean, structured data that Glue is about to create for you. Okay, step three is where the real work happens. You unleash what's called a glue crawler on that raw data in S3. It zips through the file, automatically figures out the schema, the columns, the data types, all that good stuff. Once that's done, you define your ETL job. This is where you tell Glue, okay, take this column, clean it up, merge these two columns, and drop that one. And finally, step four, you hit the go button. You run the job. Behind the scenes, Glue's serverless engine spins up, grabs the raw data from S3, does all that cleaning and transforming, and then, bam, it loads the shiny, structured data right into your Redshift warehouse. And just like that, you've gone from a messy CSV to ML-ready gold. Now, Glue is an absolute beast for batch processing, handling big chunks of data on a set schedule. But what if your data isn't like that? What if it's not a batch file, but something else entirely? Yeah, exactly. What if your data is a constant, never-ending stream, like from 1,000 IoT sensors? Or what if your data is trapped in an old database sitting in your company's server room? Glue isn't really built for that. For these kinds of specialized problems, you need a different tool from the AWS toolbox. Okay, this slide is basically your cheat sheet. We've got Glue for serverless batch ETL. If you hear real-time stream, you should think Amazon Kinesis. If the problem is migrate an existing database, the answer is AWS DMS. Need to run a massive Spark or Hadoop job? That's a job for Amazon EMR. And if you just need to connect your on-premise storage to AWS, you'll want Storage Gateway. Each tool has its perfect job. All right, let's talk about one of the most common points of confusion, Glue versus EMR. Here's the simplest way to think about it. Glue is all about simplicity and automation. It's serverless. It's perfect for most of your day-to-day ETL tasks. EMR, on the other hand, is about control. It gives you a whole cluster of servers that you can fine-tune to run massive, complex, big data jobs. So it's convenience versus power. You pick the one that fits the job. Let's put this into practice with a few rapid-fire scenarios. You've got real-time data pouring in from a website's clickstream. What do you use? Amazon Kinesis. You need to migrate your company's entire database to AWS with almost zero downtime. The tool for that? AWS DMS. You just want an easy way to back up your on-prem file server to S3. That's a classic use case for AWS Storage Gateway. See? The right tool for the right job. Okay, we've thrown a lot of services at you. Let's boil it all down to a super simple way to decide what to use and when. And this is probably the most important thing to remember. There is no single best data service. The best one is always the one that's designed for your specific problem. It's all about matching the tool to the task at hand. So here's a little mental flowchart. First question, is my data a real-time stream? If yes, you're going to want Kinesis. If no, ask, am I migrating a whole database? If yes, that's a job for DMS. Still no? Next question, do I need a custom Spark or Hadoop cluster? If that's a yes, then you're looking at EMR. And if you've answered no to all of those, and what you really need is just serverless automated ETL for batch files, well, my friend, that is the sweet spot for AWS Glue. At the end of the day, it all comes down to this. Your fancy machine learning model is completely worthless without good, clean data. Garbage in, garbage out, right? Each one of these tools is a powerful weapon in your arsenal to fight bad data. So the real question isn't if you should learn them, but which one you're going to master first.